my name is Tanya. I still remember the day when I finally stood up to my mother-in-law and cut ties with her once and for all. It was a moment of pure liberation, a feeling I'd been waiting for years. It all started on the moving day. Matthew and I had just finished unloading our belongings into our new $500,000 home. It was past 1 p.m. And we took a break to check our phones. There were dozens of missed calls, and Matthew groaned, saying his mother had called him too. Right on cue, his phone rang again, and I answered it on speaker. "Tanya, where are you? I told you we'd be at your apartment in the afternoon," my mother-in-law shrieked. I kept my voice casual. "Oh, yes, you did mention that. So, what do you need?" "What do I need? You didn't book our movers. I've been waiting all day, and not a single truck has shown up. I'd even had to go to your apartment myself," she screeched. "Oh, really?" I replied nonchalantly. "That's unfortunate." "What? What do you mean? You were supposed to handle everything. Where's your new house?" she demanded. I smirked. "You actually think I'd tell you?" There was a moment of silence, and then she let out a confused huh? Determined to set things straight, I made myself crystal clear. "Let me spell it out for you. Matthew and I have no intention of living with you. From now on, stay out of our lives." "What nonsense are you saying?" "That's for Matthew to decide, not you." "Just tell me where the house is already," she retorted. I chuckled. "And how exactly do you plan to get here when you don't even know the address?" "This house is in my name. I decide who gets to live here. If you show up uninvited, that's trespassing. And trust me, I won't hesitate to press charges." "Trespassing? How dare you say that to your husband's family?" she screeched. But before I could respond, Matthew spoke, his voice ice cold. "Family? The only real family I had was Dad, and he's gone now. After that phone call, I've had enough. I don't want anything to do with you or your daughter. From now on, my only family is Dad and Tanya. As far as I'm concerned, you two don't exist." "Matthew, don't say that. Please," she begged. "Don't call us again," he said flatly. Then, without waiting for her response, he hung up and blocked her number. As I looked at Matthew, a wave of relief washed over me. We were finally free. But it hadn't always been like this. I'm a 32-year-old working for a leading tech startup. I married my husband, Matthew, who's 34 and works in marketing, 4 years ago. We decided not to have children yet, as we were both focused on our careers. We wanted to establish ourselves professionally and build a stable home before starting a family. A year ago, I successfully led a major project at work, and my long-awaited promotion was confirmed. This raise significantly boosted my income. Matthew, although he didn't get promoted, received a substantial salary increase due to his years of service. With our financial situation stable, I felt it was the perfect time to take the next step towards our dream. One evening, I sat down with Matthew and said, "Matthew, I want to talk to you. Our financial situation has been stable for the past year. Don't you think it's time we consider buying our own home?" "Oh, already?" he responded, excitement evident in his voice. "I've actually been thinking about it, too, but since I haven't gotten promoted yet, I felt hesitant to bring it up." "That doesn't matter," I reassured him. "It's not like only one of us has to shoulder the cost. I was thinking we could put the house under my name." "Really? Well, you are earning more now. If that works for you, let's do it," he agreed. "Great. Let's check out some model homes on our next day off," I suggested. "Sounds perfect. Let's not miss this opportunity," he replied enthusiastically. The following week, we made an appointment to visit model homes. Seeing different styles helped us refine our vision. On weekends, we started sketching rough floor plans and researching online. A construction company we visited advised us to have a clear idea of what we wanted in our dream home instead of leaving all the decisions to them. Matthew and I took their advice and worked hard to define our ideal living space. However, neither of us knew much about architecture or design, so turning our ideas into reality took time. One evening, as we were taking a break from our planning, the doorbell rang. Expecting a delivery, I casually opened the door, only to find my mother-in-law, Mrs. Thompson, standing there unannounced. "Mother," I said, startled. "What brings you here all of a sudden?" She had a habit of dropping by without warning. Without even a greeting, she stepped inside, removed her shoes, and walked straight in. "Matthew, I'm here," she called out. Matthew, just as surprised as I was, looked up. "Mom, what's going on? Did you have some errands around here?" At his question, she hesitated for a moment before responding. "I told Tanya over the phone earlier, but I guess she didn't mention it to you." "Oh, I see. Maybe Tanya forgot," Matthew replied casually. "That must be it," his mother said with a smirk. "Tanya's memory is awful, even though she's still young." Matthew frowned. "That's not true, Mom. Tanya works hard at her job and takes care of our home. She has a lot on her mind." "You're such a sweet boy, Matthew," she said, shaking her head. "If your father were still alive, he wouldn't have let this slide." Matthew ignored the remark. "Anyway, Mom, what brings you here?" With a satisfied smile, she pulled a travel brochure from her bag and spread it out on the table. A post-it note was marking a specific page. "Listen, Matthew, I've always wanted to go to the Maldives. Why don't you take me?" Both Matthew and I stared at her in stunned silence. Unfazed, she continued pressing him. Matthew frowned. "What are you talking about? Tanya and I have our responsibilities, and I can't just take time off work. Besides, it doesn't make sense for me to pay for a vacation for you and your daughter, Lily." She waved off his concern. "Of course it does. Spending money on family is a wonderful thing. Don't you agree, Tanya?" she asked, turning to me with an expectant look. Though caught off guard, I remained firm. "Well, spending on family isn't a bad thing, but forcing someone to pay is another matter entirely." Her face twisted in disbelief. "Are you accusing me of trying to squeeze money out of Matthew?" "I didn't say that," I countered calmly. "But from what I'm hearing, it does sound like you're expecting him to fund the trip." "Tanya, that's awful. How could you twist my words like that in front of Matthew?" "I can't believe you paint me as some villain," she exclaimed in mock outrage. "I never said that," I replied. "I just answered your question honestly." She huffed. Fine, fine. No need for excuses. Just admit it. You don't like me, do you?" She glared at me with cold eyes. This always happened when she visited. She would find some excuse to demand money and then waste it on luxuries with Lily. But this time Matthew stood his ground. "Mom, just because you're my mother doesn't mean you get to insult Tanya. She only answered what you asked." "Are you seriously taking Tanya's side?" his mother asked, her expression darkening with hurt. "I'm saying you're in the wrong here, Mom," he stated without hesitation. "That's so unfair. Tanya must have turned you against me. You used to be such a sweet, obedient child before marriage," she insisted, trying to manipulate him. Matthew, however, wasn't swayed. "This has nothing to do with Tanya. I'm saying it because it's what I believe." His resolute response caught his mother off guard. She wasn't used to being defied like this. Biting her lip in frustration, she let out a sharp breath. "Fine," she muttered before storming out. Once she was gone, Matthew turned to me with an apologetic look. "Tanya, I'm really sorry. She always makes things uncomfortable for you." I shook my head. "It's okay. This time you stood up for us. Once we move into our new home, we'll be farther away." Let's try to keep our distance from her. Matthew let out a relieved sigh. Yeah. That would be best. If you're okay with it, I'm grateful. Our soon-to-be home was much farther from our current apartment, making it more convenient for both our jobs. Right now, we lived about 4 subway stops away from his mother's place, but our new house would be 3 times farther with transfers in between. The route was complicated enough that if we didn't give her our address, she wouldn't be able to find it. This was the perfect chance to sever ties once and for all. A few weeks later, we finalized the design of our dream home and submitted it to the construction company. 2 months after that, work began. 6 months later, our beautiful home was finally complete. Despite our busy schedules, Matthew and I managed to set aside time to pack. While sorting through boxes, my phone rang. Seeing my mother-in-law's name on the screen, I sighed but answered on speaker. Hello, I said. Her voice was unusually high-pitched, almost cheerful. Tanya, when's the big move? You've bought a house, right? I'd love to live with you. I froze. Did I hear her correctly? She must have found out about our home from Matthew. In the background, I heard Lily, my sister-in-law, laughing. This is perfect, Lily snickered. Tanya can take care of everything for us. Mom, this was a brilliant idea. Did they really think I wouldn't hear them? Their plan was clear. They wanted to take advantage of me, expecting a cushy life in our new home. I had no intention of letting that happen, but did Matthew? Had he agreed to this behind my back? The possibility unsettled me. They're trying to use me? Fine. I'll turn the tables on them. Feigning innocence, I gave them our moving date. Great, my mother-in-law said. We'll come to your apartment in the afternoon that day. Make sure to bring us along in your car, and don't forget to arrange movers for us, too. She hung up before I could respond, as if I had any intention of following through with their ridiculous demands. I turned to go find Matthew, but before I could take a step, I realized he was already standing behind me. Matthew, how long have you been there? I asked, startled. I came to tell you we should take a break, but was that Mom on the phone just now? He asked, his expression dark. Yeah, I sighed. I was about to ask you, why did you tell her about our house? I didn't, he replied quickly. She must have seen the floor plan last time she visited. She kept pestering me about it, asking how many rooms there were, what features it had. I'm really sorry, Tanya. I studied his face. So, you don't plan on living with her, right? Of course not, his voice was firm. After hearing that call, I think it's best if we cut ties with them completely. His anger was evident, stronger than I'd ever seen before. I let out a breath of relief. Matthew was on my side. That settles it then, I said, feeling a weight lift from my shoulders. Now it was time for me to strike back. And so, on that moving day, we finally put an end to the constant intrusion and manipulation. From that day forward, Matthew and I lived in peace, enjoying our new home and our newfound freedom.